In 3, 2, 1. Greetings, friends. I am Ep9, and joining me is
Furious George. Hi, everybody.
How's it going, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. We are. Actually, I don't even know what episode this is, but this is StarCraft Happy Hour.
It is. Yeah, I don't know what episode it is either.
I'm gonna guess, and I'm gonna say 9, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't know.
Sure.
Anyways,
9.
9.
9
it
is.
StarCraft Happy Hour episode 9. More importantly, we are going to be talking about Heart of the Swarm and control group tricks and tips. Because as Furious had mentioned earlier, there's new units. And so we might want to review our control groups and where we should put the new units in. Right, Furious?
Yes, sir. That's right.
Alright. So what I thought for part 1 was I'm just going to play a game against... I think I'm just going to play against the AI. Because I want to bring you in as an observer.
Okay.
Oops, I lost your cam. Just give me 1 second, buddy. There we go.
Something.
Okay, I got you back. So, yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play a game. We're going to talk about the control groups I'm using, and you can give me your feedback, alright?
Sounds good.
And guys, if you're in the chat and if you have any suggestions, please let us know. Furious will be the moderator for the evening. Okay, so I'm just going to start playing, and let's... You know, what's a really nice map? Newkirk City is pretty cool, eh?
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Star something, I like that one too. Which one's that? Star Station, let's do that one. Great game. Okay, I think my in-game sounds are going to be incredibly low, so I might actually change that real quick. Just going to bring that up. Because Skype is muting everything I do. Alright. Okay, we're going to make this a 1v1.
Are you going to have it... What are you going to put it on? Very hard?
I'm actually just going to do hard, I think, so that I can talk a bit and not just concentrate. Why can't I add... Okay, here we go. I don't know why I can't add you as an observer.
I don't know if I can actually watch you play a game.
Really? Of course you can.
No, yeah. Oh, yeah, I should be able to.
Oh, but
yeah. Wait, what am I thinking?
Yeah. It says you're pending for some reason.
I accepted.
Okay, let's just quit this.
I'm not sure why it wouldn't be...
Okay, I think this is officially the worst start to our show. Okay, I'm inviting.
Oh, maybe I didn't accept.
There
Sorry.
you go. That's okay.
Okay.
Oh,
I accepted into the game, but now I had to, I guess, accept into the party, too.
yeah, I just sent you another invite.
Oh, okay.
Alright. Okay, here we go. So let's try adding an AI. Here, we're gonna go 1v1. I can't add an AI and have you
No,
ops.
I thought this might happen, because you can't do this in Wings of Liberty either.
Really, eh? Okay, alright. Well, you know what? I'm just gonna matchmake that.
You have to go... What are you in?
I'm in custom games.
Custom games.
Okay, you know what?
Okay.
I don't know what to do then.
We can just play against each other.
Okay, let's do that. We'll play against each other. I will talk, and then maybe we can take a look at the replay after.
Sure.
All right. Custom games. Click back. Custom games. What's going on? Browse. Okay. I don't know why you can't do that. I find that really weird. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so you'll probably get like some tips on what I'm actually doing because I'm going to be talking about stuff out loud. Okay, and don't kill me too fast, otherwise this won't be very instructional.
What tier do you want to get to? I'll just play defensive.
Oh no, it doesn't matter. Play whatever. If I tell you to back off, just back off.
I'll just macro. Ah.
So one of the challenges that I kind of found with the new Heart of the Swarm units is, for example, like the mothership core.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I'm going to call it. It's unit priority. So let's say you have multiple units in a group, right?
Yeah.
Which unit gets priority?
It depends on what's in the group.
Exactly.
So sentries usually do, but if there's High Templars, then the High Templars do.
Right, right.
And I can't recall off the top of my head where the mothership core is.
Okay, so the mothership core gets priority over sentries. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that was really getting irritating, was because I'm kind of used to, you know, boxing and adding into my control groups.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I, for example, I have my main ground army on 1, right? So what would happen would be I would box my army. I would end up including the mothership, and then when I'm engaging in a battle, I would mistakenly always have the mothership spells up instead of the sentries.
Yeah, I think...
and I don't really like that.
I don't think you want to even... I don't think you ever want to have your mothership core on your main army control group, just because it has so low hit points.
Yeah, no.
That it has a tendency to go into the front of the battle anyways.
I completely agree.
And AI, regardless on if a player is targeting or not, it's just AI is just going to go after it.
Yep.
And you're going to lose it so quick. So it's one of the things you want to keep at the back of your...
Right. So, you know what I've actually found works really well? And I'll see if I can demonstrate it in this game, is... so I have 1 for my main army. And this does not include the mothership core, as we just explained. I have 2. I have all my stalkers on 2. Because I like to be able to focus fire at things, you know?
Yep.
The only thing I'd ask your... what do you think is... I've been generally playing with my stalkers in 1 and in 2. So what that means is when I hit 1, it selects all my ground army and it selects all my stalkers. If I hit 2, it only selects my stalkers.
Yeah.
And I've been liking that because it's a really easy way to kind of select your stalkers when you need them, right? Or you can leave your stalkers completely out of your main army.
I always like to have my main army as everything.
Yep.
So, and then having something like the stalkers separate and the sentries separate.
Oh, you do separate sentries as well. Cool.
It kind of depends on what I'm doing.
Right.
Right, like what kind of army composition I have.
Yeah, yeah. Very often that does make a big difference. I also have my initial probe scout on a separate hotkey.
Yeah.
I have that on 3 for now. And I'm going to be showing... Let's do another building here. So I'm kind of trying to wait till I have multiple units in a group. So the other thing I do is I have my Nexus, all my Nexus, on one hotkey, which is 4. So here I'm just kind of demonstrating if you have your army on 1, and you're moving them, and then you hit 2, and you can move your stalkers around. All 16 of my stalkers that I have already.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Oh, I'm doing brutal. Do not attack me. Too much talking.
I won't. Don't worry.
Okay, so I'm gonna spit out a mothership core, I think. Yes. So let's get out an observer. So now I've been playing on. So I have my entire army, including my sentries, actually on 1, and my stalkers on 2. Because whenever I hit 1, then I have access to the sentry commands. The mothership I actually keep on 3. So 1 is my army, 2 is my stalkers, 3 are my spellcasters. So for example, if I have High Templars, I actually keep them on the same group as the mothership core.
Okay. Why?
This one's 7. Because I kind of found that in battle, and you might disagree with this, but I found in battle that they end up in the place that I want them to be. Like, by that I mean, like, you know how you were saying, it tends to kind of just charge into battle.
Yeah, it does.
So if you have, because you don't want your mothership core to do that, and you don't want your High Templars to do that.
No.
So if you have them all in the same hotkey, they tend to group together in the battle, and you can kind of keep them behind your main army.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Yep.
As I'm kind of demonstrating right now. So I can, for example, have my army... do I have Warp Gate yet? Hold on, not yet. Okay, so, for example, I can select my main army with 1. It does not select my mothership core. I can pull my stalker out by hitting 2, and I can bring my mothership core over by hitting 3.
You require my skills.
Trying to think what else. Okay, so the other thing that I've been doing, and I actually got this trick from... Actually, I'm not sure who I got this from. Oh, it's from Apollo. I told you about the select all warp gates trick, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll notice that in the control group area here, I do not have a control group for 5. And that's because 5 is assigned to the select all warp gates key. So I actually don't have to create that control group. I just hit 5 and it automatically adds. So whenever I build them, it adds them. Okay, so 1 attack here, 2 here, 3 here, and we get a nice split. Oh, you found my observer. Oh! Okay. So now my observer is my scout unit right now. I don't have any harassment units, like for example, if I wanted to use oracles or warp prisms. I tend to like to keep my mid-game scouts and harass on 1 hotkey.
Yeah.
So I'd put them on 7, because I use 7 hotkeys. Also, the other thing that I've picked up, and I'm not sure where I got it from, is, and I don't know what you think of this, but is putting all your upgrade buildings on the same hotkey as your nexuses. Now, again, the reason for... Sorry, what were you going to say?
I tend to not even hotkey
Your upgrades?
my upgrades, just they're there, so...
Yeah, it's you see them
I'm
visually
looking
when you
at
go to
my
your
base enough that I don't usually need to have them on a hotkey.
Right. So, the nice thing though about having them on your Nexus hotkey is that whenever you hit your Nexus, you're reminded of your upgrades.
Right.
So I just hit 7-7 to jump to my forward observer. Taking a look at what Geo's doing, or Furious is doing here. Your army's too big, man. Okay, so now I hit 4 for my Nexus, and I see that I have no upgrades going, so I go Tab. And then I can hit my 2 upgrades there. Build my workers. Also, I've been using base, or location cameras, I guess they're called. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some High Templars up, and then I'm going to come attack you, and we're going to try and demonstrate the splits that I'm talking about with the control group setup.
Okay.
I'm going to try and get lots of stalkers. Oh, you got it. Well done, sir. I have my my production buildings, because the warp gates are all on 5.
Yeah.
I have all my other production buildings like Robos and Stargates on 6.
So I put so a little bit about what I do. I put my Nexus on 6. My gateways on 5. My Robo on 4.
Okay.
And my army on 1, my main army.
Yep.
And depending on what I'm going, that's what I use 2 and 3 for. So I might put like a high priority unit, like a Colossus, on a 2 or 3 that I want to micro a bit.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's what so I only use 6 actually.
Okay. I only really added 7 just for the not very used stuff, like for example, an observer. Well, not very used, I should say, but like doesn't need my immediate retention.
Right.
Okay, I want to get some High Templars out, and then I'm gonna come get ya. So now, okay, so this is what I wanted to, the other thing I wanted to check out. So now I've selected my Mothership Core and my High Templar. Which one do you think gets the priority choice?
I assume it. Well, I don't know. I would think it should be the High Templar.
Right, very good.
But
You're correct. So,
okay.
What's really cool, actually, I'm just kind of moving my army around, 2, splitting 3, and what ends up happening is your High Templar actually move the exact same speed as the Mothership Core. I could actually be wrong.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I actually think they move... Yeah, they do! They move the exact same speed. The only difference is that the Mothership Core has a... what do you call it? They accelerate to their full speed. Right?
Right.
So, anyway, so they move the same speed, which is nice. Which is why it's nice to have them in a group. And when you hit... for example, I have them on 3 with my Mothership Core. When I hit 3, I'm given the High Templar's abilities only. And the Mothership Core is so big and floats on top of the group that if I want to pick her, I just click on her. And I can use then her abilities. So it's really easy. You don't even have to use the tab with those multiple units, you know?
Right.
Hey! No fair.
Huh?
Oh! Okay, I got you. I got you. So there I was able to just kind of isolate my stalkers.
I am the voice of the accord.
To focus down your observer. Okay, so
State that we are one.
oh,
I am the heart of darkness.
I'm trying to think what else. I think that's pretty much it. What do you do for air units?
Kind of the same scenario. I always use the Nexus, gateways, all that on the same.
Okay.
So, and then I'll put them all on one, and then the 2 and 3 is where I'll always just put different stuff in.
Right. Okay, so now the other thing is, what happens when you include units that you didn't mean to in a control group? You'll see them in the command card, or in the center, not the command card, but you'll see the units at the bottom in the middle of the bar. If you hold Control-Shift, it will remove all of that type of unit from your control group, and then you can reassign it with Control and the number.
Okay.
I am the heart of darkness. We are one.
Okay, so are you maxed yet?
Yep.
Okay, I'm just gonna max, and then I'm gonna come for you. And please, nobody judge me by this game.
We stand as one. By light for life.
I am the voice of the cold. State thy bidding.
Not enough energy. Our mind has solved
Right.
data lock. Not enough energy.
Cold is the void. Yuriko, state thy bidding. I am the voice of the abyss. Acquire my skills.
By light for hire.
I am the heart of darkness. Very wide. I am the voice of the
So I'm just kind of demonstrating how it splits when you have them on separate keys.
Research complete. Just
I am the
by light for hire.
I have to figure out how to get my Steel Series engine to save my profiles correctly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You keep losing your profiles, eh?
Well, it's just not. They're not. Because I use the control groups on my mouse,
Yeah.
so they're just not reading them correctly.
Oh. All right.
you require.
I'm gonna do one more warp in, and then I'm gonna come get you.
Okay.
Hey, what are you doing?
Your probes are under attack.
No fair.
State the. I am the voice.
Your probes are under attack.
Cold is the void. We are one with it.
We are the light.
To the shadows.
Ah! All right, that's good game. GG, man, GG.
Good game.
Okay, so let's just look at that replay like really fast.
Yeah, sure. When
it-
you load it up, I'm gonna go grab a beer
Okay, sure. Yeah.
because that is what fuels SC2 mistakes.
Oh, I need one too, man. Okay, I'll be right back too. I'm gonna put us on. Be right back. All right. See
Okay.
you guys in a minute. All right, you back, man?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, mic's on.
Once again, I am really dark, so we're just gonna lighten me up. I don't know why it's doing this. There we go. Okay. It said okay. Alright, cool. So, I'm gonna load up this replay. I don't know if you noticed that in the chat there, Mike has told us what his hotkeys are.
I did.
So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the replay. We're going to take a look at what we just did. I want you to see what I was talking about a bit. And maybe you can tell us what Mike's setup is like.
Okay.
By the way, what beer are you enjoying this evening?
I have a Hockley Dark.
Ooh, that is from Northern Ontario.
Canadian.
No, well,
Yeah, Canadian.
Maybe
It's definitely
not.
Ontario. I'm not sure.
Mid.
Oh, Orangeville. Not that northern.
No.
But yeah, they're pretty good.
Alright, cool. How do I do watch with others?
I think you just invite.
It's not giving me that option. Okay, hold on. I'm going to leave the party. Watch with others. Although it did give me the option to recover, which is interesting.
Oh, I'm not
Oh.
even out of the game yet.
That's why. That's why. Tell me when you're out.
Yeah, I'm out.
Okay, cool. So, guys, if anybody else is watching in the chat, let us know what your hotkey setup is, what you think about what we just showed you. And we're going to just take a look at the replay again. It's very briefly. Maybe I might be a little more lucid, not playing the game and talking at the same time. There we go. I have sent you the invite.
Supper. I went into the kitchen to get a beer, and supper smells delicious.
Ooh, we're going to have to end this pretty quickly then, I guess, eh?
Advantages to being married. I can talk about StarCraft for an hour, and when I'm done, supper is ready.
Sweet.
And it's not pizza pockets, it's Moroccan chicken.
Holy smokes. Alright.
Okay, so I can tell you. Uh-oh, I just went out of chat. Let me get back into it.
Okay.
I was about to tell you what Master Mike's. Okay, so let's go. We'll start with Protoss since that's what this game is.
Sure.
He puts his Nexus on 1.
Okay.
So Nexus on 1, Warp Gates on. I don't know what that means. Mike, what does that mean?
Nexus.
W Warp Gate. 2
Nexus
he puts
with warp gates?
Nexus with Warp Gates.
2
He puts 2 gateway,
3 robo.
3 robo,
Is he
4
screwing with us?
starport. I don't know what that means.
1 Nexus with warp gate. Okay, could it be that he puts... No, his cyber core is on 0.
Warp
Warp
gate.
gate's the letter W.
W.
Oh, okay. So, here, we'll take a look at mine. Why isn't it coming up?
I see.
Right, so, remember how I said I assigned my warp gate key to 5?
Yeah.
So he just hits W.
He just hits W.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 gateway, 3 robo, 4 starport, 5 main army, 6 magic units, 7 warp shuttle, if he has it, but maybe he always gets it.
Warp shuttle?
The shuttle.
You know what, that's
I
a
like
better name.
It is. A warp shuttle.
I love that. Okay.
It's a good way to get in the habit of always making a specific unit if you just have a control group for that unit.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're like, oh, I have to make a warp shuttle.
Cool.
9 forge. So he puts his forges on a control group and 0 cyber core.
Right.
And I would assume that would be... He obviously has that there for his air upgrades.
Yep.
So he does it backwards, basically, of what I do. I start from...
You start with your army.
6, 7, and then I go down.
Right.
So I wonder...
Well, that is interesting, eh? So he's got main army, magic unit, warp shuttle. So he only uses 3 control groups for his army at all.
3, yeah. Which is... I do the same.
Yep.
His main army, his casters, and his kind of... So what I would call his warp shuttle would be like if I want to put my Colossus on there, or...
Yeah, you can use it for other stuff, right?
Yeah. Or specific, maybe if you're playing Terran, some Medivacs or something.
Huh.
So what he does with Terran, same thing. He puts all his command centers, nexuses, hatcheries on 1.
Right.
Just as I always put them on 6.
Yep, me too.
And I play all 3 races. I know you don't, so...
Yeah, I only play Protoss.
Yeah. So I always put everything on 6. Barracks is 2. Factory is 3. Starport is 4. Man, that's so funny because I go Command Center 6, Barracks 5, Factory 4, Starport 3. So he just does it backwards.
Yeah, that's
His main
funny.
army's on 5. Again, his magic unit's on 6, so that'd be something like a ghost. 7, he has his drops, so that's his Medivac drops.
Yeah.
8, boy, he must make a lot of ghosts when he plays Terran. 8 is his Ghost Academy.
Wow.
That's a strange one to control group. I would wonder why he's control grouping that, and maybe he can answer that for us.
Yeah.
Because there's no upgrades. The only thing that you'll be doing is nukes.
You could be producing nukes. But
Yeah.
well, I don't know. Maybe
I don't know.
he'll
Let's
let
see
us
if he
know in the chat.
9 engineering.
nukes. Yeah, it's for
Man,
nukes.
you must do a lot of nukes. Holy
Awesome. In long
He's-
macro
he's-
games.
smoke. He's stacking nukes.
Yeah, well, that would be.
That
Well, that would make sense because if you get into the late game and you want to
you
have
don't want
more
to
than
go into
one
like
nuke.
3 or 4 ghost academies.
Yeah.
And doing the nukes. So man, interesting.
So,
Okay, and then
are you on
9
my camera, by the way?
Zergo Armory. What's that?
sorry, are you on my camera, by the way? Your view are you on my camera or
I'm
not?
actually just watching the stream.
Oh, are you? Okay. Did you? I don't know if you noticed there that I selected my entire army and then moved around my stalker.
Yeah.
That was just
Yeah.
that was just by hitting 1 attack move, 2 attack move.
Oh yeah. Okay, we'll just finish off Mike for Zerg.
Yep, sorry, go ahead.
1 is all his hatcheries, 2 is his queens. When I play Zerg, I go 6 hatcheries, 5 queens.
Okay.
4.
He has 2 army
Not
groups.
3? I guess he doesn't use 3.
Hmm.
Or maybe he missed it.
Doesn't look like he
4
did.
is his 1 army group, 5 is his 2nd army group, which I do the same thing.
Oh wait, hold on. I
Zerg.
shoot. I was gonna tell you maybe the reason why he doesn't use 3 is because
doesn't
there's
use
no
that.
production buildings. You get them both in your hatcheries, right?
Yeah. So he doesn't use 3.
When he's playing Zerg.
I tend to, when I play Zerg, I use more control groups for army. So I
Yeah.
actually use 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Depending on what kind of composition I'm going with. If I'm not, I put my Evo chambers on 4
Okay. Yeah.
'Cause-
For upgrades.
for upgrades. For 4 and 6 is his magic unit, 7 is his air unit, 9 is his Evo, and 0 is his spires. So when I play Zerg, I go 6 hatchery, 5 queen. One is usually my lings.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I go 2, 3. I don't box my armies when I play Zerg, so I don't have them all on one. I don't have a total army on one.
Yeah.
They're all separate.
Really?
So I'll have like things on 1, roaches on 2, hydras on 3.
Wow.
Just because it's so much positioning.
Yeah. You need to get
want
a
to make
spread
sure
and a
that the
split.
hydras are always in the back. So I just do a sequence. So if we're engaging, I'll go 1 send, 2 send, 3 send.
Oh. Okay.
That means the lings will always hit first, and the roaches will come, then the hydras will come.
Smart.
And
Now-
then
Do you?
usually you want your mutas on another hotkey too, because you want them diving in and out.
Yeah.
And it's too impossible to do.
Yeah. You can't have them all in one control
No,
group.
so it's so much easier when they're all on one group. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I do think the Heart of the Swarm has made it more important to keep your armies on different hotkeys. It seemed like in Wings of Liberty you can get away, as Protoss anyway, having your entire army on one hotkey.
Well, I mean, just like the
Other
units
than-
that
other
have
than-
added. So I mean, I think of Zerg with the Swarm host.
Am I lagging or what?
I don't know.
I'm
I'm going
waiting
back
for you.
into the game. Sorry, I'm coming back into the game. So
Oh, I
that-
see. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you're back in the game?
Yeah.
So go on my camera if you don't mind.
Okay.
Game resumed.
I am on your camera.
Alright, so... so I don't know if you just saw that right there. I selected my entire ground army. Let's see if I do it again or not. And I was able to move out my Stalker, and then my Mothership Core was on 3. And you can you see my control groups?
Yep.
Okay.
So, it was interesting. Well, so at this, I was kind of hoping you would attack earlier because I didn't have any army on control group. So I was just gonna see if.
Oh!
But by the time you attacked, I had separated everything up. So.
Oh, okay. Now, you were
Yeah, when
mentioning.
you talk about. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that when you were talking about Zerg,
Yeah.
you said that you had basically one control group for Zerglings, one control group for Roaches, one control group for Hydras, etc. Right?
Yeah, so on, like whatever you're going, yeah.
But you don't play that way generally with Protoss. Like for example, you wouldn't have all of your Zealots on 1, and all of your Sentries on 2, and all of your Stalkers on 3, all separate.
I don't, and I don't know if that's just because I haven't been playing Protoss as long, and I'm not quite as used to them yet. But I find that I want to, with Protoss, I want to engage in a bubble anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm basically everything. The only thing that sometimes can happen is my zealots kind of get caught behind stalkers.
Right.
But other than that, I find I'm moving Protoss in a big ball anyways.
Right.
So I haven't really found the need to do it yet.
So
When
that,
it gets later on, especially when I get zealot legs, I like to have my zealots on their own control group.
oh, okay. Cool.
Just because then they don't get caught behind anything, I can kind of separate them out easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
I
basically
usually do have my Colossus on their own hotkey though.
yeah, like on 3.
My Colossus and my Stalkers.
Oh,
So I can
in the
blink
same
with my
group.
Stalkers. No, like they'll be separate.
Oh, okay.
So I'll
okay.
put my Stalkers on 2 and my Colossus on 3.
Right.
So I can move my Colossus independently, depending on what the opponent's army is.
Right.
So I don't know if you noticed, but when you attacked me and I had that line of cannons, I was bringing my Colossus up.
Yeah, and then you pulled them back.
So I had those on a separate hotkey. It's just easier to move them, and I can move them back right away.
Absolutely.
And obviously for the Stalkers, for the blink ability, you really want to have them on their own hotkey.
Yep.
That's one unit. Zealots, I don't really care about whether they're on their own or not, but
Yeah.
Stalkers, for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Because there's so much more micro priority than a Zealot would be.
You know, if you
A
take-
Zealot, I view a Zealot as just a meat shield.
Yeah, exactly. If you take a look at the screen right now, you're gonna see the way my army is set up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's ideal, but I've separated. You can see the zealots and the sentries and the immortals. See how they're separate from the
Yeah.
stalkers? That's only because I select one, I move, select 2, and pull back. And I think I'm going to do it right here too. Yeah, like that.
Right.
See that?
Yeah.
So that kind of, for me, that solves the problem that you were talking about, where you feel like your
Right.
zealots get stuck behind your stalkers. And then I have the mothership core on 3. I'm going to speed it up a little bit because I did want to show you, because you didn't get to see it, but the High Templars along with the... Oh, here we go. Here we go. So the High Templars are going to join the mothership on 1 control group.
Mm-hmm. And the High Templars have priority.
They do, yes.
So
So now look at the speed they move.
I would say, though, depending on what's your... Well, no, I'd say, okay, always. I was going to say, depending on what point of the game and what you're doing, but I think you want your mothership core on its own hotkey all the time for mass recall.
Oh,
So let's say you get into a really bad spot, or you engage an army that you weren't expecting to be as big as it was.
yeah.
Or maybe your zealots are taking a lot of damage up front and you're like, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing that I think you want to be able to do really quick.
Okay, so
And even like time warp, like that's almost like that's a force field cast. Like
Yeah.
that's a sentry cast.
exactly. So the only thing I'd say about that is having the mothership in the same group as your casters. Like you see, I just picked my mothership out of that group.
Yeah.
That was really easy to do because she's on top of everything and she's big.
I appreciate your blind storms here. They're very
Yeah,
good.
did you like that?
Yeah, that was good.
Okay, let's see. Because I didn't really actually see if they hit. Oh, yes!
No, like that's really good, yeah.
Not too bad, eh? Good thing Observer's built so fast.
Yeah, I know.
So even here, like, I'm bringing my whole army by hitting 1. And then when I get up to the top, I can just isolate my stalkers with 2. And focus down the Observer. Right. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have the mothership core with a whole bunch of units.
No. Yeah, you want to be able to pick it out.
Yeah. I've played games where I've gotten it. I've tried playing it with my main army, and it is horrible.
Yeah.
Because I'm so used to being able to hit 1 and then use sentry force fields or guardian shields, right?
Yeah. I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the new units too, like how you want to control them. So I think of if we'll talk about Protoss, a unit like the Tempest.
Okay, now
Like, where do you put something like a Tempest? Even if you're going for an air army, I think you want to have the Tempest separate, always, just because they can't take a lot of damage.
right.
They have such a high range that you can micro them even though they're very slow, and you don't really want to lose them because they're so expensive.
Okay, so I've got a quick question for you. With Protoss, generally, you're not. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't generally find myself playing a game where I have, for example, High Templars, Tempests and Carriers, and like DTs and stuff like that. Like generally, you pick one tech path.
Yeah,
And-
that's kind of where it depends on what time of the game you're in.
Right.
And that's why. So I always kind of have that 2-3 army composition's always changing for me,
Right.
depending on how a game is going.
So let's say you were going air toss,
Yeah,
right, or sky toss as it's called now, and you have Void Rays, Tempests. Let's even say Carriers and Phoenix.
yeah.
So how would you like to see that army split among control groups?
So I have Tempest, Carriers, Phoenix, and
Like,
Void Rays.
let's say all the air units. Forget about the Oracles. That's more of a harass unit.
Yeah, yeah. So I'd probably put my Void Rays and I probably, in that instance, I wouldn't have everything on one army.
Okay.
I'd have my Void Rays and my Carriers on Control Group 1.
So Void Rays and Carriers together. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably move about the same
And-
speed.
Yeah, and I'd want to, and then I would separate my Phoenix and my Tempest. And for that reason being is maybe I want my Tempest in the back shooting over my army.
Right.
Maybe I want my Tempest over to the side a bit, shooting in,
So the
flanking.
Tempest is almost
maybe
like
I want
the.
to take my, maybe I want to take my Phoenix to their base.
Yep.
Right? Maybe I want to bring my Phoenix in behind to shoot some, because I would think about what would I be going up against at that point. I'm going up against another Protoss. They're probably going to have, if they've read it correctly, they'll probably have Sky Toss too.
Yeah.
Or they may have missed, and they have a big Colossus count.
Right.
If I can be able to maneuver those two units, my Phoenix and my Tempest, around to maybe go at the Colossus at a point where they're not getting attacked, I want to be able to do that.
Right.
So yeah, kind of similar to how a Zerg would play.
Okay.
And I think that you had mentioned it, that's what's happening in HOTS,
Yes.
is you're having to divide. You can't just
No.
go out with a sentry bubble with a Protoss army.
No. Because
And-
the units are so specialized.
Yeah,
You know.
and then I think of like a Zerg with swarm hosts. Like that's such a difficult unit to use. I feel
Yeah.
if you can use it correctly, it can be really really good. If you don't use it correctly, it can be brutal.
Right.
You'll just get smoked. So having swarm hosts would be something you want on another control group, no question.
Yeah. Yeah. Because yeah, absolutely.
Same with like something like a Viper. I mean, they're doing such weird. They're consuming their own buildings, and they're just doing a lot of stuff that a normal army wouldn't do.
Yeah.
So you're gonna want that on. Like I don't even think you'd want a Viper on your casting control group.
Oh really? Eh?
Infestor. I think you just want it on its own control group.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Terran, I was thinking about Terran a bit.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is the Battle Hellion. Like, that's the only thing that... And you'd have to be doing a very specific strategy with it. You'd have to be, like, dropping in between Battle Hellion and Hellion. So you drive your Hellions in,
Yeah.
and then to the mineral line, you'd bring up Battle Hellions, and then you drop down and get out.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't really see Terran changing that much in control groups as far as their army goes.
What about Widow Mines? They can pretty much be moved along with the army. Eh?
I
Unless-
guess so. I guess it depends on how you're using them.
Yeah.
Because once you bury the Widow Mine, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, they're either going to detect it or not.
Right.
And the only thing I could see happening would be, especially if you get the upgrade, the tunneling clause.
Yeah.
because they can tunnel. It's like ridiculously fast. Like
Right.
you can't kill them fast enough
Yes.
before they tunnel.
Yeah.
So I guess you could have them on their own control group for that.
I wonder though if
I-
you had them in with your main army all on one control group, what would be selected?
Would be priority.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the
Uh,
only caster like special ability unit in that group. If it's a, you know, like
Yeah.
Marine Medevac Marauder kind of thing.
Terran's weird because they have so many. So I mean, you have your stim, you have your siege, you'd have your burrow,
Yeah.
and then you even have your medivac.
Medevac Boost or whatever it's called.
So yeah, that's a good question. What would be?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah,
But
neither.
definitely, I think one of the biggest things we can take away from this is that in Heart of the Swarm, you have to be able to use more than maybe one or two more control groups for your armies than we did in Wings of Liberty.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think more of the point of is you're gonna have to be changing your army control groups throughout your game.
Sure. So you don't necessarily have to
So-
have six
Yeah.
different control
No.
groups for your army. Just be ready to assign them to different keys.
Yeah, so if you're only going to use 3 keys for control groups, just expect to be putting different army compositions on those groups as
Right.
the game gets longer.
Yep. No, that
And
totally makes
so
sense.
as to what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I do like, though, using one separate control group for harassment units and observer, like scouts. So because I generally find that when I'm harassing, I'm getting scouting information. So using that one control group for scouts and observers, for example, it's kind of serving the same purpose.
yeah.
Anyways, do you have any other thoughts on control groups
No,
for Heart of the Swarm?
Yeah, you mentioned you had another game or something, or are we done?
I think we're done.
I think
because
we're done.
I think you've got a really nice meal you have to get to.
Moroccan chicken.
Yeah. Enjoy it, man.
I will.
Okay, so for anybody who's still here or watching on YouTube,
Yeah.
Thursday, what's going on Thursday, Furious?
Which Thursday?
This Thursday. You don't even remember. It's the
I have
it's
no
the
idea.
last King of the Beta.
Oh yeah. I thought that was for whatever reason you got me confused with the LAN Party 2,
Oh yeah.
and I had thought that was going to be that they weren't going to be playing at the LAN Party, but it was that same week.
Oh
But
no,
yeah,
because
I do remember that.
the beta's down.
Yeah,
It goes down March 1st. So
right.
hopefully you
So
can make it.
Thursday. Oh, I'll be there.
all right, cool. So yeah,
Do,
come on, guys.
Anguish and Mike, remember?
Yeah, best of 7. I hope they remember. I've been reminding them. Okay, man. Well, you have a good night.
You too.
Enjoy your supper, and guys, thanks for coming out to StarCraft Happy Hour. Thank you, Mike, for your input, and we look forward to seeing the best of 7 match for the last King of the Beta this Thursday. Show up twitch.tv/SC2Mistakes. I'm Agamemnon signing out.
Curious George. Have a good night, guys.
Okay, good night all.